Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Travel Coach Network podcast. It is I, Sahara Rose DeVore, the founder of the Travel Coach Network and the owner instructor of the Travel Coach Certification Program. Today's guest, I'm so excited. We have Alessia. Alessia is the founder of One Girl Travel LLC, a solo travel-focused life coaching business where she helps empower women to realize that they are capable of doing whatever they desire in life, especially traveling solo. She's a Martha Beck certified life coach and, of course, a certified travel coach, along with being an expert solo traveler. Her mission is to support and encourage women to follow their travel desires and implement their newfound freedom from solo travel into their everyday lives. Alessia, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So tell us, where did this passion for travel even stem from?
So it actually stemmed from pain. So I was actually in a long-term relationship, like my first adult relationship for a few years, and it wasn't a good relationship. Um, and when it ended, I was lost. I didn't know who I was anymore. I was pretty broken. I depended so much on him that I lost who I was in the process. So when I came out of the relationship, I needed to rediscover who I was. And I decided I need to take a vacation alone. And I was not somebody that liked to do anything alone. I wouldn't go to the mall alone. I wouldn't go into a fast food restaurant like alone. And so this was a big step for me. And I decided on Florida because I was familiar with it. And I went for a week. And from the moment I got on the plane, I sat next to a guy my age who was a solo traveler, talked to him the whole flight. I never spoke to anybody on a plane before. So it was like meant to be that I talked to him. And then throughout the entire week while I was there, I just found all these people and they were just so nice to me. And I felt like I was just so encouraged and I knew that I was doing the right thing. And ever since that trip, I haven't stopped traveling. I just fell in love with solo travel. I loved how I felt so empowered and just it built up my confidence with each trip I took. And yeah, that's how I really started traveling. I didn't travel as a child really. So it was in my mid 20s when I started traveling.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you happen to sit on the plane next to a traveler, a solo traveler as well.
Mhm.
Was there anything that you remember in that conversation that really inspired you too?
He was showing me pictures of different places he went and he just got me excited. Like, wow, I can do that. Like he was all over Europe. And it was just like this introduction to this whole new world for myself.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like I know before I started traveling, when I was just in high school, I wasn't a traveler. My family wasn't travelers. No one was a business traveler. I don't think my grandma actually never had been on a plane her entire life. And so didn't start traveling until my early 20s after university as well. But I remember hearing this concept of backpacking Europe when I was in high school. And it's so easy to think like that's not attainable for you, or that it's only possible for a certain type of people to be able to have a lifestyle like that or travel like that. So the fact that you took that leap, especially with it stemming from a place of pain, which I hear so often from a lot of people in the Travel Coach Network too, who, of course, before anyone becomes a travel coach, you have an underlying passion for travel, and everyone's catalyst for traveling is so different. But I've heard so many times people who travel because they um went through a terrible divorce, or a heartbreak, a breakup, a loss of a loved one, so some sort of grief, and how powerful travel could be to really transform your mind and your soul. What are some of the things that you realized about yourself, about life, when you started traveling?
Yeah, everything. I mean, I attribute to who I am now through my solo travel journey. Um, Self-love is a huge one. I learned to love myself throughout this process. So it's been 10 years I've been solo traveling. And with each trip, you have to depend on yourself for every single nuance of what you're doing. And it really teaches you to trust yourself and to take care of yourself And that's a huge one. And also just personality. Now much more outgoing. I could talk to anybody anywhere. I was never that person. I was always very shy and timid. Um, just everything. My confidence. It's it just showed me what I'm capable of, you know?
Yeah. Do you see any skills that you learned through while traveling that helped you become the entrepreneur that you are? And
Yeah.
that's a
So
question that I got once before too, and it really makes you think, right?
yeah, I mean, the confidence is a big one. And I think people skills, just talking to people and having conversations and being open to new opportunities. That's a big one also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like risk taking too, because I mean, realizing and trusting your gut. There's so many different things, especially as a female traveler.
Mhm.
There's so many things that we have to think about as well. Have you been to a place that really blew your mind, a place that really stuck out to you?
Yes, I have my favorite place. So, Scotland is a place that I've always wanted to go. I have no ties to Scotland whatsoever, but since I was a child, I wanted to go to Scotland. And in 2017, I took myself to Scotland. I did a tour. And when I got to Edinburgh, I had to buy new curling irons. Of course, I blew mine out with the UK sockets. And I was walking down Prince's Street and I just see the architecture, and there was somebody playing bagpipes in the distance. I just started tearing up as I was walking down that street because I was so overwhelmed. Like, I made this happen for myself. I did this. Like, this is a place I've been dreaming about for all these years, and I made it happen. And that was really powerful. And it's still my favorite place to this day.
Oh, I love that. That gave me chills because you don't often think about those moments. And so as you're saying that, I was trying to think of the times that I was traveling and places and it's like that, like a small street and that's, a quiet place, not a touristy area where you're like, I finally made it to like Paris, but it's like this very, humble place that is serene and peaceful that you're like, I'm the one who created this lifestyle for
Mhm.
myself. Like I'm the one that I depended on myself to get me here and to see and experience a place as peaceful as that too, and just how impactful that could be on your soul as a human too. So did any of those experiences, especially your love of Scotland, which is a place that's on my bucket list. I have not been to Scotland yet. So I
So good.
definitely I want to go so bad. But did any of those experiences, were they the inspiration for you to become a travel coach? Where did that come from?
Yeah. So around the time that I started solo traveling, I found my mentor. So it was my first time working with a life coach. And between the life coaching and the solo travel, I saw what an impact it made on my life. And in 2019, I went to Paris with my mentor on a small group trip. And I had this epiphany when I was there. And I was standing on a balcony barefoot, eating cheese, drinking champagne, just overlooking the Seine. And I was just like, this is what I'm meant to do. Like, and I mentioned it to my mentor, and she had me declare it in Paris. And ever since that day, I haven't stopped. I built One Girl Travel. I just kept going because I'm like, this is right. This feels so right. So Paris is where I had my epiphany, and it was really important. Like, life coaching and solo travel, it just made sense to me. And then I found you, and you just helped me with my niche because there wasn't, you know, there's life coaching, but there's not really specific travel coaching. So I was so happy when I found you in your program to really help me build up my niche.
Yeah, and tell people what is it? What is your focus? Is it solo females? Are they of like a
Yes.
certain age, a certain experience?
So I like to say from 30 up, because I feel like by your 30s, then you get that life experience. Because there's usually something that needs to drive you. And I feel like 20s, you're still having your fun and you're learning. But when you hit your 30s, that's when you're ready to do the work. So, but women 30s and up, just anybody that has that desire to solo travel, but there might be something holding them back. So that's when I use life coaching skills to really dig deep of why they haven't done it yet, and then we can move on to the action, and then that goes into the travel coaching and actually getting them out doing things.
Yeah, and what are some of the mindset blocks or limiting beliefs, or what are some of these objections that people
Yeah,
have that you help your clients with?
yeah, there's guilt of allowing them to go do it. Maybe they have children or family. and they feel guilty putting that time and money into themselves. There's I'm not worthy. There's I'm waiting until the right time, or I'm the right, weight, or I have, the right things going on in my life. There's so many things that we just tell ourselves why we can't do something, but it's just a thought.
Yeah, definitely. And that's so interesting. I've heard, even from friends of mine where they're like, well, I won't do this until I accomplish this first. Like you mentioned the weight thing, like I'm going to wait until I'm a certain weight in order to go. But I feel like people need to start living their life in the when you have the opportunity to do so, right?
Exactly.
And really using travel as a tool to, shape that life. And I can see you doing that in your content you put out there and how you inspire others, by leading this example of this lifestyle and this mindset and this confidence. Are Have you had any moments where you still struggled with any of that? And is that something you help your clients keep on pushing through with?
Yeah, I mean, I'm only human. So even though
Yeah.
I know all the tools that there are with mindset, things still come up and I'll question myself. Like, is this the right time? Do I have enough money? Like, it'd be nice if my body looked different for something, like, but I'm able to turn those thoughts around and kind of coach myself around it. And like, no, like tomorrow's not guaranteed. You need to do things now because we get one chance. Like you said, there's one chance at life. Why are you going to wait for it to happen? You just have to decide
Yeah,
to make it happen.
absolutely. And especially like, I mean, I know when I first took my first trip and that my first country I went to solo was Ireland, and I did Western Europe initially. And I thought I was just going for that month and a half that I had originally planned. And I ended up getting bit by the travel bug and traveling like you for 10 years on and off. And so sometimes people don't think that, you know, just how meaningful and impactful travel is going to be on them in their life, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes just that beginning just to start and see where things can go from there.
Yeah,
Well, among
absolutely.
all the stuff that you do, how do you find balance in your work, in your content, in social media, in coaching?
Yeah, there's a lot. I still work my corporate job. So I do have an 8 to 5 corporate job and I'm growing One Girl Travel. And then social media is like a job on its own.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I schedule everything down to like 30-minute increments. So I know exactly what I'm doing every 30 minutes. Because if I don't plan, I'm going to miss something. And then I'm going to be, you know, all frazzled trying to catch up. So I really have to plan everything. So my health is a huge priority to me because if I don't have my health, what am I doing? So you have to really schedule every single thing. And it's not easy, but it's worth it. I'm
Mhm.
helping other people, I'm getting the word out there, and I'm building my business. I'm setting myself up for the future.
Yeah, you do so well with your content on as
Yeah.
in particular on Instagram, where I love to follow you. What are some tips that you have for other travel coaches and travel business owners in showing up and even maybe in that confidence level too? Because that's something that I hear from many travel entrepreneurs is, I'm not used to social media or I don't really align with social media, so I don't really know how to show up or I don't want to. How important is that, especially in the travel space, and what are some tips you have for navigating those imposter syndrome beliefs?
Yeah. So I can totally relate to that, to not feeling comfortable, especially, reels just became a big thing. And I was like, I'm too old to do this. How am I going to do this? I don't know what I'm doing. But then I'm like, stop overthinking and just do it. You just have to do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to start out as an expert at anything. You just have to try and you learn as you go and you see what your community reacts to. And then you can ask them for what they would like to see from you and use your knowledge. If you're traveling, you have knowledge that other people might not have. And it's a disadvantage to them to keep it to yourself. That's why I like to think like, if I don't put this out there, I'm not sharing it with other people and they're not learning from me. So just put it out there. And if it gets no likes. It gets no likes. What's the big deal? At least I'm trying. And I think of it as practice. Everything I do, it's practice and I'm
Mhm.
learning. And I think that's the biggest thing. Just don't expect it to be perfect. Just put it out there and see what happens. Have fun with it too. You have to be
Right.
willing to just laugh at yourself and just move on and keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I so many times people think that, I can't put this out there because it's not perfect, or they're expecting a certain amount of likes. And I have such like a thought for the likes on social media because they mean nothing. I don't know how many times I've looked at things and loved them
Mhm,
without hitting the like button. It does not mean that did not make an impact on me. It does not mean I didn't talk about it to my friends and family. I didn't doesn't mean I didn't share it elsewhere or whatever it might be and inspire me. Just because I didn't hit the like button, it does not matter. And you in business, you never know who's following your content. I
mhm,
get people coming out of the woodworks, joining my program, in my email list. I've never seen their name before. I can honestly say, I think probably if I've turned into percentages, probably 85 to 90% of the people that enroll in my stuff, I've never even seen their name and anything. They didn't engage with anything. They're not the person that tells me they're going to sign up one day. And so you just never know. And even on a bigger level, if you're looking at brands, you don't know who's watching your content.
mhm.
Just put it out there, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Do you see any content that you post, whether it's inspirational, educational, or whatever it might be, that works better with your audience as solo travelers, or an angle that you really see a lot more impact that you make for your audience?
So I find like I really think that, a picture is great. You can have a beautiful picture, you can have a funny video, but for me, it's the verbiage that I put in there because that's where I'm educating my community. That's where I'm connecting with them. And I put value into that. Not everybody on social media thinks that way, but I enjoy putting as much content as I can there for my audience. I think
Mhm.
it's easy for them just to read it quick rather than going into like a full blog post or something. They're getting the information and then they can move on with their day. So that's a big part of it. I think anything educational and also showing them things that are unique. So I recently went to Alaska and I went on a helicopter ride and hiked on a glacier and did this cool train ride. I snorkeled in Alaska. Like, so these unique things that maybe they didn't know were possible for them to do. Like, I want to bring that to them. Be like, look, you can do this too. It's fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How was the helicopter ride? That's something
My
I
God,
kind of always wanted to do.
it was incredible. It was such a fun experience. Yeah.
Were you scared?
No, not at all. I was so excited. I'm like, whatever, I'm going. It's just one of those things. Like you live once, I'm going, I'm committed to doing it. And then helicoptering to a glacier and then walking around a glacier. There's a waterfall on there. Like it was nothing I've ever experienced before.
That's amazing. Was it an organized tour that you went on, or is it like was
Yes.
it like a package of some sort?
So I found a company that does an excursion. So it was a
Nice.
cruise. So I was there for the day and I found them and I went with them. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Was it you went on the Alaskan cruise?
Yeah, so a Norwegian cruise line I did, and then
Yeah,
I booked the excursion on my own.
that's something that's been on my bucket list as well. Girl, you're checking off my bucket list too. So
Yeah.
I'm like Scotland, Alaska. I
So
mean,
good.
you think being of how many places I've been to those places, but I have not. And I love having you in the certificate travel coach certification program and our community. You're so inspiring to everyone in there, and really such a powerhouse, especially and with your social media. Can you share with our audience some of the things that you either one, why you joined the travel coach certification program, and what are were some of your bigger takeaways of either the program or working with me?
Yeah, so I like I said, I've been working with a life coach for almost 10 years. So I was very familiar with the coaching world. And
Mhm.
then I got certified by Martha Beck in 2020. I started doing that. Um, and then I had all the tools for life coaching. I'm
Mhm.
like, I want to be a travel, I want to focus on traveling. And I didn't know that there were other travel coaches out there. And then I found you. I'm like, oh my gosh, like she has a program that I can get certified, which is amazing that you have that. So congratulations to you for putting that together. It's amazing. So I joined your program and I loved that you included mindset stuff that I've learned from my life coaching and how to actually put a business together. Like you gave the tools to actually put together a business, how to work with clients, and then focusing on specifically travel clients. So it was really a great way to get the coaching, the business, and the travel all in one place. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I always say I created what I wish I had from the very beginning when I
Hmm.
was a aimless backpacker hopping around the globe who had a passion for travel and knew that I loved helping people and didn't really know what else I could do with it, even though I knew what I didn't want to do with it, which is, the booking process and stuff just wasn't my thing.
Hmm.
Um, well, thank you so much for that. Is there a fun fact that you can share? And it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to be travel or business related.
Yes. So it kind of ties it all together, I feel like.
Okay.
So my fun fact is in high school, my junior and senior year, I was the only girl on the boys wrestling team. And there was never ever a girl on the boys wrestling team before. I was the first. I gave it literally no thought. I was just like, I want to join the wrestling team. And I just did it. And it was very like unlike me back then. Cause like I said, I was
Yeah.
very shy and timid. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be the only girl on this team. And I joined, and the coach called my mom. He's like, "Are you sure you want to let her join this team?" And she's like, "Yeah, just let her do what she wants." And I joined. I never quit. I never stopped. If I had to cry, I went in the locker room, didn't let them see me, and I did it. And that was like something that still is like a motivation, like reminder for me. Like if I did that, I can do anything. So
Yeah.
that I feel like really played a role in who I am today as well, and how I began solo traveling and all of that, because I was strong enough to wrestle and I'm strong enough to do anything else in my life.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, girl, you're telling me that, you're shy, you're timid, but look, you joined the wrestling team when no one else has done it before. You backpacked and solo traveled the globe by yourself on your own terms. And you created a business and you're
Mhm.
continuing to thrive. So I think you need to give yourself a lot of credit because you are an
Yeah,
incredible human being. And
thank
and
you.
you're just so inspiring for others out there too. Is there anything that you want to, as we close up here, to let our audience know, or just any empowering last thoughts?
Yeah, so with my business, One Girl Travel, I am actually opening my doors on in September for a membership. So it's my
Oh,
first membership. I'm super excited about it. Um, yeah, so you can find out more on onegirltravel.com and sign up there. And I also have I, I have a newsletter that I absolutely adore. I love putting it together for everybody. And you can sign up through my website also, onegirltravel.com. And that's full of life coaching tips and solo travel tips and a ton of fun things. So this is
I
my,
love
yeah.
I'm so proud of you. That's
Thank
so
you.
exciting. Oh my gosh. Be sure that you're dropping that in our Facebook groups for the Travel Coach Network because
Yes,
I
thank
want
you.
you all to promote yourselves and inspire one another like you all continue to do. And tell our audience how they can find and follow you.
Yeah. So my website's onegirltravel.com. Instagram, it's one_girl_travel. And TikTok's onegirltravel.com. I mean, One Girl Travel. And yeah, you just search for One Girl Travel and I'll pop up.
Perfect. Yeah. And like I mentioned, all of Alessia's links are going to be in the show notes. And Alessia, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed our conversation, and you really are a bright light in this industry. For anyone interested in joining or following the Travel Coach Network, you can find us on the travelcoachnetwork.com, the Travel Coach Network on Instagram. Like Alessia said, just put in the Travel Coach Network and you'll find it. We look forward to having you too in our open Facebook group. It's the TCN Global Community on Facebook. The link for that and the free beginner's guide to travel coaching are also in the show notes. And if you know anyone who might be interested in travel coaching, be sure to send them our way to our podcast. We truly appreciate it. And until next time, my fellow wanderers, bye for now.